Hi, this is Adam McClure with Portia+Rohm Realty, and today this is for first-time home buyers. So if this is your first time looking at purchasing a home, this video is for you. The thing I wanted to go over real quick is just the kind of the general home buying process. I don't think it's very well explained, and you sort of get a sense for it, but only after you've been through it. So I want to give you a sense of what that looks like up front, and a few sort of points of guidance that we use to be as effective as possible with a first-time home buyer. So really, number one, obviously, you kind of want to start with the budget in mind, and I know that's an easy thing to say, but really you've got to go get pre-qualified. You got to get your approval, really a pre-approval done, where you've given all your tax information to a lender. And it's really important, especially now, to be sure that you're working with a direct lender. And really, the definition of a direct lender is who is bringing the actual money to the closing table. There's lots of brokers out there who are more than happy to work with you, but they may be sourcing your loan from another company. So, for example, if you got a mortgage broker and they're going to bring and Wells Fargo is bringing the money at the closing table, and the mortgage broker is say XYZ Capital, then they're not a direct lender. They're working, they're utilizing the funds from Wells Fargo. But if you've got a lender who is actually the one who's funding the loan, it makes all the difference in the world, because it means that the team that's evaluating you for underwriting and that's setting up all the documents for closing and that's doing all the final quality checks and everything, they're all working for the same company, and they're all coordinated, and all the pieces work together, and everybody works quickly and efficiently, and you've got a much higher chance of success at closing. If you want to shop rates and get the cheapest thing around, great, fine. Obviously that's your prerogative as a buyer, but I recommend that you don't do it on the purchase. That maybe you think about pushing harder for the rock bottom price on a refinance 6 months down the road. If that's what you want to do, because the most important thing when you're buying a house is performance. You've got money on the table. You're gonna when you get into contract, you're gonna make a deposit, and that deposit becomes at risk when you're done with all your inspections. And if you're not able to perform in the time and manner in which you specify in the contract, then the seller has every right to keep your deposit and walk away and find another buyer. And you would think that in this climate, people would be willing to work it out, but I still see deals fall apart, and I see buyers, potentially coming at risk of losing money. So I'm very careful not to allow those situations to happen. But one of the best things that you can do to help yourself and to eliminate a lot of stress in the transaction is to work with a direct lender. So know your budget and get your lender lined up. That's number one. Number two is it's really an interesting process, and I know people get excited about looking at lots of different possibilities, but you want to narrow it down to a couple of areas that you really want to focus on up front. And that means going and visiting, understanding it, and saying, okay, this is where we're going to be shopping and working and playing. And it's not, school districts might be important. They might not. It depends on your lifestyle, but obviously you got to kind of look at the whole picture, but narrow it down and really try to focus on 2 areas, maximum 3. So if you've decided, all right, our budget is $700,000 and we want to look only in Kensington and the Rockridge area of Oakland and Lake Merritt, okay, fine. But that's still pretty broad. When you can narrow it down, if you can narrow it down any further, and you can really say, you know what, we're bound for Rockridge. That's what we're really focused on. You're going to be much more successful, because the next step is to really tune into the market. And what that means is, and yeah, I did use a $700,000 example for a first-time home buyer. I know there's some of you out there, but once you're able to narrow down that criteria, then it really helps, because now you're going to really zero in. You're going to really focus, and you're going to become an expert in your marketplace. And you're going to once you build up a little bit of expertise, you start going to the open houses. You kind of focus on the area and you hit all the open houses in that area for 3 or 4 weekends in a row. You're going to pretty much know what's going on out there in inventory. And over a couple of months, you're going to start to see things that were available, that went into contract, and even closed, and you start to see those sale prices come through. So that's going to give you a pretty good sense of what's been going on recently in the marketplace. And then that's what really gives you the confidence to step forward and say, all right, Now we're ready to write an offer because we know that this thing is right in this range. And that's when, you know, a good agent really is going to work with you and be your partner to figure out, okay, how do we structure this transaction in a way that's going to meet the needs of all the parties, and, you know, that's going to give you the best possible negotiating position to get your needs met. So that's what leads you through the process until you get to being ready to write the offer, and hopefully you get it accepted, and then you go into contract. So I'll cover all the details of some of the strategies that we use for setting up the negotiation, and some things that come up in some unusual situations that you might want to look out for, as well as what happens when you're in contract and what to expect next in another video. So thanks again for your time, and appreciate your comments and questions below. Again, this is Adam McClure with Portia+Rohm Realty. Thank you.